Chapter 41. Gordon's been added to the list. I can only assume he's only still alive to prevent panic from overtaking the city. I've tried to call the local parishes. The few who answer think this is some kind of sick joke by a raging atheist. I've tried contacting Vicky Vale at the Gazette, but they neither buy I am who I say I am, or that this has any validity. I need your help, Jason. You think I like coming to you like this? Because I don't. But as you'll recall, we were in this position once before, teetering on the edge of a war, ready to see a mad zealot overtake our city. I don't care what you stand for or how you've changed. If you don't answer me, you're letting Blackfire win from beyond the grave. It was hard enough to put him in one to begin with. The former master and student met eyes within his tiny containment room, neither sure how best to approach the other until Bruce said, "Maybe in your mind you are the hero. You're hardly the only one fighting crime with a body count, but if you don't tell me where the Seraphim is hiding, you will not be able to claim that again." "I'm not like Superman," Jason said. "I can live with the casualties. People will die whether I'm around or not. But you have the power to stop them from dying." Bruce glared at him. "And if you have that power and refuse to use it, you will live out the rest of your days bathed in their blood." "Yeah?" Jason sneered. "I will never let you out of this room. I will punish you with their names. The names of innocent men, women, and children, every day for the rest of your life." At this, Jason began to show a small twinge of fear. "You will stand knowing your stubbornness has filled graveyards. Suppose just one person, just one minister or priest, is in every one of those churches, Jason. You'll have exceeded Joker's body count in a single night." "Don't you dare bring the clown into this!" Jason shuddered after a snap. "You and that blonde-haired bitch throw his name around like it's nothing. He beat me to death for the hell of it, Bruce. I'm nothing like him. He's a maniac without a shred of regard for human life." "And you're proving no better," Bruce said. "First he was known as Red Hood. Then after a brief encounter with me, he lost his sense of empathy." "Stop it, Bruce! Stop it!" "Why don't you just be a bigger man than him?" At this notion, Jason rose from his chair and threw a punch at Bruce's face, one his old mentor was easily able to dodge as he moved to the opposite side of the room. Jason tried to pursue him, but cried out in pain and fell to one knee after a few steps. "Damn leg!" he spoke through gritting teeth. "That fix-it of yours ruined me!" "You're not going to talk about her like that." Bruce closed the distance between them. "I heard all about your little venture and your exchange. There's only room for one worst Robin, Jason, and that's you." "Shut up!" Jason held his hands over his ears. "Shut up!" "But you have the chance to redeem yourself," Bruce said. "And you don't have to be ruined like this forever. She's getting the care she needs, and, in a few months, she'll be totally healed. I can do the same thing for you, Jason. All I'm asking in return is that you do the right thing." Jason grasped his forehead and gnashed his teeth, as if totally at odds with what to do with those commands. He wouldn't surrender. He told himself for days he would never surrender to Bruce again. But Bruce was right. He'd been injured. He could hardly walk, even after all that time had passed. He couldn't possibly hope to do battle with the Seraphim and stop what was foretold. Maybe Bruce was bluffing? No, Bruce was a bastard, he told himself. A self-absorbed, pompous bastard who didn't know anything about the greater good. But he would never fake something of this magnitude. And if this was all true, no matter what he said to himself about innocence in Gotham, he could not permit it to happen. The subway. What? Blackfire? Some ancestor of his? I don't know, but one of them was one of the foremen on the Gotham subway, Jason said. How the hell could you have not figured it out? Their base is built directly below the subway. That's how they slip in and out of the streets unnoticed, and how they have all that firepower to blow up the churches. There aren't bombs inside, Bruce. They're underneath the foundation, probably attached to the ceiling of subway tunnels and waiting to be detonated. He's right under your nose. He always has been. The two remained in their position for about a minute before Bruce turned away and said, Go to Leslie Tompkins' clinic. Tell her I said I'd foot the bill. Your leg is going to need surgery, Jason, but it should heal, given time. You'll be able to leave as soon as I've departed the premises. Don't let me catch you on my streets again." He was halfway to the door when Jason gave a half-hearted, "Bruce!" and he turned around again. "The entrances are all crawling with security once you slip in. The best I managed to do was briefly get into one of the stores a block or two east of Finnegan's Bar. They probably don't come out of there very often. Too many cops. From what I gather, their main headquarters is somewhere around Toxic Acres. They might have a tram running down there or something, considering that thing is miles long." Bruce took his time to reply, but after some consideration said, "Thank you. Kick their asses." Bruce put in a quick phone call to Alfred, who led him out of Jason's enclosed chamber and onto the 5th-floor hallway. "Did he finally have something for you, Master Bruce?" Alfred asked. "He did, and it means we have more work to do, and not much time to do it." Bruce gathered together with Tim, Dick, and Stephanie again around Cassandra's bed. Barbara linked them via laptop. "We're only going to have a few hours to shut this whole thing down," Bruce said. "Jason may have finally budged on their location, but it will be a fierce confrontation to overthrow them from within. Barbara, what are our numbers?" "Not favorable, to be honest. Superman's off Earth dealing with... I don't know what, something. I've tried to get a hold of the Titans, but all my emails are coming back undelivered. All things considered, it's more than likely the calculator's trying to screw with me than anything the Seraphim is doing. So, as is, you've got the birds as backup. On top of those 3. 2, Bruce said. Stephanie's not going with us tonight." "What?" she said. "After all they did to Cassie, you seriously expect me to sit this one out?" "You're injured." Cassandra sat up. "You've played your part," Bruce said. "You captured Jason, and we're feeling the effects of that. But your leg is still damaged, and you don't need to put any more unnecessary strain on it, especially in circumstances as grave as these." Stephanie crossed her arms and turned away. "Then there's the matter of not letting him take Gordon as leverage. Dick, I want you and Huntress to get Jim out of his apartment at all costs. The Seraphim will probably have reinforcements ready for you, and might be ready to level the building if needed. It's a dangerous mission. Do you understand?" "Come on, Bruce. I wrangled a missile shot by Vandal Savage once. I can handle this," Dick smirked. "Don't get too confident. This maniac may be crazier of his last 30 years than Savage has been in his last 1,000. At least Savage usually knew what he was talking about." Bruce turned toward Tim. "Tim, you, me, Zinda, and Dina are going to attack their stronghold beneath the subway." Bruce turned back toward Barbara. "We have one person in the entire city with a power, and we're going to need her." "I wish I could help," Cassandra said. In response, Bruce put a hand on her shoulder. "You've done enough. We're finally closing in on the Seraphim. The city owes you everything now, Cassandra. We know how to finally put an end to all this. We won't let this chance go in vain." At 6 p.m., as darkness began to overtake the city, 4 figures traversed the streets a block away from Finnegan's Bar, and stepped into the unusually empty Gotham subway station. With the citizens of the city largely settled in with their families for Christmas Eve, few but the most procrastination-inclined citizens were boarding the trains. There were few who double-took at the sight of Batman and Robin, alongside the leather-clad blonde Black Canary and the one with the bob cut, anachronistic war uniform, and short skirt, Lady Blackhawk. None of them paid them any mind as the civilians turned, pointed, and yelled. None of the heroes paid the civilians any mind when they pointed and yelled, and only paused when the subway arrived and left. The 4 proceeded onto the tracks and into the black of the tunnel. "Old Barbara always told us you were stacked, Batman," the cheerful Blackhawk called from the back. "I hope you plan to throw us a heck of a Christmas party when this is over." "Glad someone's maintaining some calm here," Batman said. "Keep that energy for the battlefield, Zinda." "We on a first-name basis now?" she said. "I think I've earned a little peek under that mask, then." When Batman didn't respond, Robin told her, "Don't take it personally. He's like this with everyone." Batman tapped a few switches in his cowl and scanned the tunnel for several hundred yards. He triggered the night vision and searched for the entrance that Jason described. "There." Batman stepped forward a little further and identified a handle sticking between the tracks. "You want me to blow it down?" Canary asked when he failed to pull it open. "Too specific for the enemy." Batman drew a spray cartridge from his belt and sprayed onto the bolts of the trap door. "I'll handle it." And with a flick of a switch, the explosive gel blasted the bolts holding the entrance in place. With a toss of the cover, the four could see a vertical passage, along with a ladder, as it descended into a deeper black. "All right," Batman spoke to brace himself and his company. "We're going behind enemy lines. I dealt with an epidemic like this once with the Seraphim's predecessor. But these men are far more organized and have a single clear endgame. The Seraphim wants me for himself, and judging by his past words, he wants to break all of you like he tried to do to Angel." "The hell? He doesn't even know we associate," Canary said. "They've been shooting to kill for the last week. Where are you getting your ideas from?" "It's what he said back in Arkham," Batman said. "But it doesn't matter. We won't give them the chance. He wants me dead and he wants all of you converted. We will not be giving him the satisfaction." And with that, Batman grabbed and slid down the ladder into the mouth of madness, his three companions mere steps behind him. "I don't see anyone around that looks suspicious." Dick scanned Commissioner Gordon's apartment from across the street. He turned to his companion, dressed in an oversized fur coat that managed to conceal the black and purple spandex she wore underneath. For Dick's part, he was garbed in a winter coat and sweatpants, covering his own uniform, a domino mask tucked into his pocket. "We gotta play it cool, though. You ready?" "As I'll ever be," the exacerbated Helena Bertinelli sighed. "Mob violence, mass-murdering clowns, and religious psychopaths. Just another day in Gotham, I suppose." With a mutual nod, the two casually crossed the street, inconspicuous as they made their way into the building. It was a nice place, formed of old brick, easy on the eyes, and warm after slipping through the doors. The path to the elevators was clear, and seemingly without issue. Dick and Helena rode it up to the 11th floor. Dick tucked his hair into his stocking cap for good measure before they arrived. The hallway seemed empty, though laughter could be heard from a few rooms down as one walked. The thought of the coming danger made Dick sick to his stomach. If anything screwed up, no, he told himself, nothing would go wrong. Everything would be fine. With a knock on the door, the weary Jim Gordon was slow to answer, and carefully looked out the door's peephole when he did. With a rattle of the chain, Gordon answered and carefully examined the two. "Who's there?" "Come on, Jim. I know it's been a while, but you know me." Dick faked a chuckle and opened his arms. "It's Dick. Your daughter and I used to date." Gordon opened the door wider as he looked between him and Helena. "Dick Grayson. What are you doing here? And who is this?" "A mutual friend of ours," Dick said. "Didn't Babs tell you? We've been patching things up lately. She said I should give Helena a ride and come to Christmas Eve dinner." Gordon began to suspect something at this point. "But we don't have a dinner for—" "And she told me," Dick spoke slowly, "that you didn't have any idea what present she should get you for Christmas." Gordon's eyes widened at this statement as he motioned the two to come in, then shut and locked the door behind them as they entered. "Well, I can't imagine what Barbara was thinking of regarding celebrating Christmas Eve, but you two are better in here than out there." "Babs mentioned you had a bit of a bug problem." Dick's glare darted around every corner of the living room. "Must be a pain." "It is," Gordon said. "I don't even know where they all go." Dick made a motion to Helena as she opened her coat and revealed 3 line launchers, entrusted to her by Batman before the group split for the night. She opened the largest window in the living room and looked out to another old brick building across the street. "I don't know about you two," Helena said, "but all this snow's been giving me a bad case of cabin fever. I just want to get a little fresh air in here." At this, there came a sudden banging on the door. "Drop 'em!" a voice outside commanded. "Crap, they know we're here. Huntress, get down!" Dick grabbed Gordon and ducked as Helena triggered the 3 line launchers, pierced into the wall, and extended a line into the building across the alley. In moments, gunfire ripped and tore through the door of Gordon's apartment. The Commissioner and Dick clasped hands over their ears. No point in being subtle anymore. Helena shed her coat, slipped her black and purple mask over her eyes, and drew a crossbow. Now standing as the Huntress, she fired dull-tipped bolts into the door, which broke through and crashed into the heads of the black-garbed men outside. The commissioner shouted, "What on earth is—" "No time to explain." Dick helped Gordon to his feet and pushed him toward the 3 launchers. "Grab one and get out of here. We'll be right behind you." Gordon stared at the wire that held the launcher in place, unsure how it could possibly support his weight, before Dick yelled, "Go!" and he reluctantly pushed off. The commissioner sailed over the streets below and clung on for dear life. Dick and Huntress grabbed a hold of their own as Dick threw a handful of wingdings into the hall for good measure. The sound of the other tenants screaming with fear and confusion filled him with dread. "I have to make sure they're okay." Dick released his launcher. Huntress demanded, "What are you doing?" "I'm not going to let them kill anyone tonight," Dick said. "Take Gordon and get out of here. I have to make sure there aren't more of them crawling around this place." "Nightwing, do it!" He ran into the hallway, and moments after, Huntress reluctantly complied. Dick grabbed a hold of one of the downed men, lifted him by his shirt collar, and glared into his eyes. "How many more of you are there?" "Enough to lock this place down. Not that we need it," his enemy said with a chuckle. He then revealed a detonator latched to his belt. "Gotham's favorite commissioner's about to go up in smoke." Eyes wide, Dick leapt away as he pressed the button. Gordon's apartment erupted in a deafening, fiery explosion. One Dick managed to evade the worst of, but quickly consumed the Seraphim's 2 servants and severed the lines that Gordon and the Huntress clung to. Outside, the aging commissioner fell to the opposite side as the line was giving way, and barely managed to position his body so as not to slam into the building when he went gliding forward. Huntress executed a similar maneuver as the 2 clung to their launchers against the wall, nervously looking back and forth between the hundreds of feet of pavement still beneath them. "Any ideas?" Huntress searched for some way to cushion their fall from the substantial height. "How about this one?" Gordon slid over to one of the building's few windows and shattered it with a kick. With a slide thereafter, he slipped inside and motioned for Huntress to join him. The 2 made it in fast and caught a glimpse of the burning room across from them. "Good God, could he have survived that?" "He used to be a circus performer, sir. Defying death was his job," Huntress said. "Come on, we're getting out of here." Across the way, Dick tore off his jacket and sweatpants, slipped on his mask, and rushed toward the elevator doors. Nightwing heard yelling and gunfire from below and was sure the Seraphim's servants would be taking the lift to follow him. Hands tied on the 2 sides of the elevator door, he pushed with all his might. Nightwing forced the doors open and glared down at the ascending carriage. Sure he wouldn't have much time for anything else, Nightwing reached into one of the hidden compartments on his uniform, slid out a small container, and allowed the mechanism within to unlock. After pulling on his gloves, Nightwing clung to the side of the elevator as he began smearing the contents of the container onto the 8 steel cables that held the carriage in place. Within seconds, the gunk began to eat through the first cable, slightly but notably slowing the elevator's ascent. As Nightwing jumped and, as necessary, swung across the shaft, he coated every cable. The elevator slowed more with each broken link as the men within began to yell in impatience. With the last of the cables covered, Nightwing jumped down the elevator shaft as, seconds later, the carriage went careening downwards for a few seconds before halting, safe but unable to move. Thankfully, that doesn't work the way action movies always said it would. With that, Nightwing raised his communicator to his mouth. "Oracle, Jim's safe. What's our next step?" "Batman's already beneath the subway. I'll find the nearest entrance for you and Huntress. Is it true? He's really secure?" "Yeah, Babs. He's okay," Nightwing said. "It's a Christmas miracle." Three of the Seraphim's servants stood leaned against the wall near the tracks of the tram. One of them remarked, "Collins better get back here with the rations already. I know we're not having the feast till the party's over, but just a little something for now isn't going to hurt anything." "You know Collins," the other one remarked, "probably hogging the fresh stuff for himself. Watch him come back and try and patch things up with jerky. Kid's an idiot. Oh, here we go." As they were speaking, the tram slowed to a screeching halt and stopped just in front of the three, who glanced inside, uninterested in it until the moment they double-took. "What the? It's empty!" The three looked toward the tram and, unsure where the riders could possibly be, took a few hesitant steps forward to glance inside. Instantly, Batman, Robin, and Blackhawk jumped out, grabbed the back of the men's heads, and crashed their faces into the tram's guardrails. Each slackened, unconscious. and allowed them and Black Canary to get on their feet and step out. I think that was going to be the easy part. Robin dusted off his hands. You said this will lead to the heart of the place? It should, though the maps posted in the tram weren't to any kind of scale. Batman pressed 2 fingers to his cowl. Oracle, are you seeing anything on this place yet? Afraid not. Barbara spoke through an increasingly strong layer of static. This place just doesn't exist as far as any of my research can tell. Nightwing and Huntress saved Gordon and are headed to you as fast as possible. Good, Batman said. Though hopefully we won't need them. Ready to lead his charge, Batman motioned that the 3 follow him as he slowly approached the door leading to a network of passages that would eventually bring them to the chapel, where Batman was sure the Seraphim would be operating from. He pressed an ear to the door and tried to judge if anything awaited them on the other side before he nodded to the others, opened the door, and motioned them in. The corridors were dimly lit and broke off into a number of smaller passages every 100 feet or so. Most of the walkways led only to empty, locked rooms, probably containing supplies, ammunition, or stolen goods. At one point, as Batman scanned the upcoming hallway, he identified a few bodies on the other side of a door's smudged window. He concluded they must be guarding the passage that led back to the subway, and he silently motioned to his allies to duck low enough to slip past them. With every step, Batman remained aware his connection back to Oracle was growing weaker. The static's getting worse, Batman told her. Don't assume we're finished until I tell you we are. Got it? Will do. I wish I could do more for them. For you. For anyone, really. Stephanie looked over the sleeping Cassandra. My mom's probably going to flip out if I'm not home when she gets there, being Christmas Eve and all. I know she deserves better, but man, it's been a screwed up holiday season. We all need a vacation. Bruce ought to put us up somewhere nice. That'd be a great present. Sorry, I keep babbling. I know you can't hear me and all. I think I should probably get home, Cassie. Rest up my leg. Prepared to hear all about how this great adventure went without me tomorrow. Guess it's all for the best. Stephanie pushed out of her seat, laid a hand on Cassandra's shoulder, and quietly said, Get feeling better, okay? Before she stepped out of the room and made her way to the streets to catch a bus home. About 10 minutes later, Cassandra opened her eyes and pushed herself up, wide awake, though she'd been faking it for an hour. She knew Batman gave everyone a part to play, but he hadn't accounted for one thing. She hadn't told him absolutely everything. If he did everything he said, if everything worked out, the war would still not be won. The Seraphim had his own plans for the night. She knew exactly where he'd be. His comments, his statements, the way his blood boiled. Cassandra knew none of them were going to be there to stop him. She reached over to the sheet of paper that she'd already read over many times, grabbed the phone, and punched in the number. After a minute or two came a yawn and a, Hello? Sadie, Cassandra said. It's Cassandra. Holy crap, you're awake? I can't believe it. How are you? Not much time, Cassandra said. Sorry, have to hurry. Need a favor. Yeah, sure, Sadie said. I mean, you saved my life. What is it? Do you have a car? I can if you need me to, she said. Mom's passed out again. Why? Need to get home. Right now. Were you cleared? Isn't your dad there? I just need to go, Cassandra stressed. Please, I need to leave now. Sadie was silenced by the force in her voice before she quickly said, I'll be there. Do you need to fill out any emergency paperwork, or my room is in the back? Just pull up nearby. Cassandra peered through the blinds next to the icy street that ran next to the building. What the? Are you insane? I know I already said that with swimming in the river, but this... Please, pleading edged Cassandra's voice. Can't explain, just need to leave. Now. All right, I'll be there. Give me 20 minutes. It's the least I owe you. The 2 escaped with Gordon, sir. And judging by the unconscious bodies we found by the stores and by the tram, they've infiltrated our base. A frustrating setback, to be sure, the Seraphim said. But we will compensate. Your orders hold, unless you lose the trigger, Lester. Capture them all, save his servants, and leave the Bat himself to me. Yes, master, the the old preacher said. "Truly on this night we accomplish our greatest triumph. Indeed we do." The seraphim stepped out of the shadows of the gigantic bell at his side and looked down at St. Michael's Cathedral as snow continued to cover its massive rooftop. "They who imprison my ancestor appeal to a false prophet across the sea. They who claim to have founded us. We will punish them all tonight. They who have sinned most will suffer first."